actually going to go through. What up, everyone?
Morning.
Morning. So we have Coach David here and
Professor Muhammad. Good
Professor
morning,
Muhammad. So you're looking extra dark today. We just got back from California?
California, Long Beach.
Country of California. How was that?
Oh, it was 70s and chill.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, 70s and chill.
Yeah, okay. How was the culture over there? Were they, like, you still have to keep 6 feet from everyone over there? Like, are they like kind of like keeping a wide berth?
No.
I mean, you were obviously at the Jiu-Jitsu World, so like someone was getting close. But
Yeah. No, it's they loosened up. They loosened up
that.
on the masks, but yeah, California is like California to me is like a big New York.
Oh.
Yeah, California is like.
Oh well, then I have even less desire to go there.
Yeah, it's like the
Jeez.
Same traffic but bigger freeways.
So this is crazy. All right, this is crazy. Amanda does Peloton, right? And she's got like this main, I don't know the guy, the cyclist. He's like I don't know, he's kind of a minor celebrity, and he's from New York.
Okay.
And he's like, I see those nasty people all the time wear sandals in New York. He's like, that's disgusting. So how filthy? He's like, I'll never wear sandals. He's local. How filthy must your city be to where you can't wear sandals? Like you shouldn't wear sandals out and about.
Yeah.
Extra. The word is extra filthy.
There's so many.
You're from New York. I'm sorry.
There's so many just people, so much traffic. I mean, it's just like Grand Central Station everywhere.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you're back. Just in time for we had some promotions. We got summer program coming up. We have barbecue. Well, that's not till July, but got a lot of big things coming up. This is my favorite time of the year. I actually wait year round for warm weather like this.
Yeah.
To where my joints don't feel like I'm 57. So it works pretty well for me.
Yeah.
So
you can keep the you can higher or lower the air conditioner. It can get extra warm in here.
Yeah, well, we could, but so I've got a philosophy, and let me know if you agree with this. Like warm, you walk into a building and it's just as warm in that building as it is outside. Your initial reaction is that building clean or dirty? Like we're talking, it's 85 outside, and you're walking into a commercial setting, and it's 80 degrees in there.
Yeah, David likes to keep the building so cool that you almost need a sweater in here.
It's just brisk. It's brisk. Like you can always put more clothes on.
Right.
You can always put more clothes on. If someone walks in, like they bring a sweater, they bring something. Well, then you can't really we kind of have a no stripping policy here. So like you can't walk around topless.
So how's the AC work at your house?
So the AC
is it also cold?
So I have. That's a good question. Actually,
do you believe in conserving energy and all that?
I believe in working hard enough to where I don't have to say the extra $25 I'm going to pay on my bill at that house. Like I don't want to be. I don't know, man. Like I don't want my house to be so miserable so that I'd be knowing that I saved $8 that day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be like I would rather leave the house. Go somewhere, go to a coffee shop where it is temperature controlled, work to make that $8 so that I can go back to my house and pay the bill.
I just don't like the air conditioning. Yeah. That's my thing.
Definitely, that being said, I like for my joints, like my joints prefer the, warm weather.
Yeah.
But in terms of I guess we'll call it client experience, member experience, that's a personal thing. But we keep it at 70. It's not like it's 65, it's 70 degrees.
Yeah, you could tell we have a difference of opinion on this.
It says 70 degrees. But we're talking about today.
Yeah.
We're talking about outcome.
Yep.
So one of our core values. What does outcome mean? That's kind of an obtuse word.
Yeah, outcome in the development or jiu-jitsu world is what is it that you want? So it's not necessarily what is I want to make $1 million. Or I want to, promote to the next belt. Is a better outcome would be having that. How's that going to make you feel? So I want to feel like I'm independent. I want to feel like I'm progressing. I want to feel like I'm learning. And what do you need to do to achieve that outcome?
So what is okay? I guess give me some. Can you give us an example? Give us an example of what outcome, what that specifically means. Maybe what's one of your desired outcomes in any area of your life. Like obviously you've earned a black belt, so like you kind of achieved not that that's the end result, but like I'm sure that was a goal, right? So, so what's an example of like a desired outcome with whatever you're going to look for?
So I will use jiu-jitsu. Like my outcome in jiu-jitsu is to get better. And my outcome in jiu-jitsu is to stay strong, stay physical, stay healthy. And if I want that outcome, what do I need to do to achieve that outcome? So in order to achieve that outcome for me personally, I continuously have to work on things that are not working for me. I have to work on things that are going to make me stronger, like lifting weights. I have to do my repetitions. So I have to do all the little things that make me better at jiu-jitsu. So it's not really training. I don't have to train more. I have to train differently. I have to train smarter in order to get better. And sometimes that outcome also means studying other people, which I do. You know, that outcome for me also means when you and I are training and things aren't going my way, I got to, reevaluate that and say, what am I doing that contributed to not achieving my outcome? So,
sure.
How about you?
Well, outcome. And I'll answer that in a second. What does ultimately, like for any outcome, would you agree that to gauge an outcome, you need to be able to evaluate sort of the production or the results that something gave, right?
Yeah.
I think the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results. Mm-hmm. So like if you're doing the same thing and expecting different results, that's going to get you nowhere. It's a waste of time, waste of energy. And a lot of times we can people tend to, I need to just do more of the same thing. Well, more of the same thing that didn't get you the results isn't going to change. It's not going to do anything. So I need to do something different, right? I need to do something different. So how do you, but the problem is, here's my evaluation of that. Doing something different is change.
Yeah.
Change is kind of scary.
Yeah. For a lot of people it is.
So how do you change something? Even if you need to, hey, we'll use the jiu-jitsu analogy. My guard's not working. I need to play half guard. Okay, my guard's not working. I need to play half guard. So I don't really like half guard, but I need to start working it because the first one wasn't working.
Yeah.
Hypothetical. Yeah. Right. So how do you embrace kind of, because that's a huge part of the outcome. You're gonna have to change something.
Yeah.
At some point in time.
Yeah. We got a saying: if you don't grow, you got to go. And this is something that we teach our kids in our kids program, is in our kids leadership program. If something doesn't work, you have to try something else. And if that doesn't work, you have to try something else. You have to, persistence beats skill every day of the week. Yes, but you have to do it in a smart way where you have to be willing to try new things. And the truth is that people are afraid of change. You know what I mean? Being afraid to change could mean meeting new people, making new friends, trying something completely different outside of your normal routine. And that's very, very hard for people to do. And, some people freak out.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think change is so difficult?
Well, you take the workforce, the big company comes down and say, hey, guys, it happens all the time. We have this new payment structure, or we have this new initiative we're doing at work, and people are freaked out because it takes them out of a routine that they're in. I think both of us read that same book, The Power of Habit. Is when your brain gets into when your brain establishes a habit and it knows it's a habit, it shuts off so many different areas of brain. It becomes on autopilot, and you don't have to think about it. You don't have to worry about it. Your body and your schedule are just doing it. Like getting into a car, you're not looking at the key thing anymore. It all becomes auto. It goes on autopilot. So I think that it's when you're doing something different, it hurts. You're kind of going down a path or a road that you're completely unfamiliar with, and for a lot of people, it's scary. It's intimidating.
Yeah. Yeah, I all of that is 100% true. But I would take it one step further and say, but why is it though? Like why? I have my opinion, but like why? What to going down someplace new? Why is that so daunting?
Well, you don't know what your next step is, and I think everybody is afraid to fail. Everybody's afraid to like step out of their comfort zone and be embarrassed or look like they're not confident in that area.
Yeah.
You know, and like I'll tell you what, yesterday I was asked a question by Johnny.
Coach Johnny?
Coach Johnny.
Yeah.
I was asked a question by Coach Johnny, and I didn't know the answer. And I wasn't afraid to know the answer, so I worked through it. Instead of using him as a partner, I used Jabril, and I learned the answer at that time. And I said, you know what? That's a good question. It's the smartest question I've been asked all day. So let me try to figure this out so I can give you the best answer that I know. And I wasn't afraid to say, I don't know, you know, and and people respect honesty. You know, when you say you don't know or you haven't been down this path, it's okay to seek out help and have somebody guide you, because you know that's the only way you're going to get your brain and your life on autopilot if you go down those.
And that was kind of the answer I was trying to, because even just that thought process, a lot of people won't go down. They won't go down that further. You know, they won't pursue that why. And, you know, several times in to see, hey, you know, why am I afraid to change? Well, it's because I'm afraid to fail. Who cares if you fail? Well, and ultimately it comes down to what somebody else thinks.
Yeah.
What somebody, could be mom, could be dad, could be your spouse, it could be your coworkers, it could be your big brother, it could be your frickin', you know, your social media. You gotta look good on social media, right? You gotta look great on there. Like you know what always kills me? People who won't post shit all year round, and then they're like on a flight to Hawaii or wherever the hell they're going, like wherever, like they're on vacation, because now they gotta look grand.
Yeah,
they have to look grand.
Yeah,
like I haven't posted anything grand, like doing anything grandiose in like a minute. Like I think the last mastermind we were at, I didn't post a single anything from the last mastermind I went to. I was just so busy. I literally woke up and we're at the event all day, and like I do up till 3 a.m. So like I just fell asleep.
Yeah.
And that would have been a great, you know, like so you want to look grandiose, but it's you keep up these sort of appearances, and you keep up these appearances for people that ultimately don't care. They don't care.
Yeah.
I was talking with Coach Christian, or Coach Jordan, and we were talking, like doing exciting. He was talking about videos. He's like, dude, how do you get so good at that? I was like, well, I mean, I've been doing it a minute. So like, I would just kind of, even personal stuff. Like I've been doing it for a minute. You get comfortable, and you know what really, really helps is no one cares about you. No one cares.
Yeah.
Like literally no one cares about you.
Yeah.
Like they might say something. You might be the center of attention for 15 minutes, and then they're going to keep scrolling. And if they're the type to talk shit, they're going to talk shit about someone else. Yeah. Like that's just that's human nature. That's the majority of human nature. So I've never been talked down by someone doing more than me. Only those less. So I think, so tying it back to outcome, knowing that you need to give yourself permission to fail. Because no one has done, again, on the same thing, no one has done anything noteworthy without failing.
Yeah.
Usually a lot of times, like several times, several dozen or several hundred times, depending on the endeavor. So now that we know we need to kind of overcome failure, or be the fear of failure for outcome, how do we align our prioritize our resources to achieve your outcome?
That's a good question. When you know what you want, you know what your goal is, everything falls into place. And I will use Jiu-Jitsu. We have a lot of Jiu-Jitsu people on here. Like if your outcome is to move to the next belt rank, well, let me backtrack a little bit. Outcome is, in my definition of outcome, how do you want to feel? So it's not necessarily, okay, guys, this is my goal. My outcome is my goal. For me, achieving a goal and using my outcome is actually saying, how do I want to feel at the end? At my outcome, how do I want to feel, and what do I need to do to make me feel that way? So for me, it's about like, how do you feel? How do you feel? How do you want to feel? Not necessarily where you want to get to. At the end of whatever this goal is, what do you want to feel? And choosing my outcome, choosing what I need to do to achieve my outcome becomes much easier. So yeah, for me, it's about, how do you want to feel at the end of the body transformation, at the end of, whatever it is you're trying to achieve. How do you want to feel? And that makes it easier to put things into perspective.
Can you give me an example of one? Like, because I think I think that's sort of an interesting perspective. And so, like, generally, like, I think there's kind of a few major, we'll call it human and positive emotions, right? There's pride, there's joy, there's laughter, humor. I kind of want to laugh. There is. Those are honestly the big ones. So there's fulfillment, feeling fulfilled.
Yeah.
So
those are good ones. Like, let me use confidence as an example. If my outcome is to feel completely confident that I could defend myself, or if my outcome is to be around other people that are much smarter than me in a different sector than I'm in, if my outcome is to feel confident, like I could defend myself and be around other extremely successful people, what do I need to do to get confidence within myself? And my answer for me is, I have to train. I have to train my mind and I have to train my body. And I train my mind by studying Jiu-Jitsu, watching Jiu-Jitsu, studying how people work, studying how people learn, and also, getting like a really, really very tough workout. And that gives me all the confidence in the world to say, where I come from, my field, I have all the confidence I need. And I'm definitely not as smart as you in the medical or the engineering field. You could be a genius, but I'm a genius in my field. So that gives me the confidence. My hard work gives me the confidence to do those activities every single day. So I feel confident.
Gotcha. In your industry.
In my industry, in my field, or in my job. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So what if somebody is so what are some different outcomes then that people chase, like traditionally? Like we'll just say, because that's one for yours. Your outcome is like, you want to feel confident. You want to feel confident in your status as a jiu-jitsu professor. You want to feel confident in your we'll call it your social circle that you've achieved as much as maybe some white collar lawyers or what have you. So feeling confident there. But there are some other people that they might have something different. So what are some of the main ones that we see in terms of outcomes? It can be feelings, could be emotional, be emotional. But what are some ultimate? A lot of them are a little bit more. If you boil it down, it is a feeling, right? If you boil it down, it is a feeling.
Yeah.
But what are some outcomes that people chase typically? And then how do you? Because I do want to come back to this, but how do you prioritize the resources to it? So what are some outcomes people normally chase?
Oh, I'll tell you from experience and working with people for over 20 years is that, like, I want to get in shape. I want to feel better. I want to make more money. And those, in my opinion, are not the right way to have a outcome. I think those are, they're not specific and dialed in enough. I think those are common. Like, we hear that all the time here. I just want to feel better. I want to get in shape, and, or I just want to produce better at home or at work or whatever. I think those are like very common. When you boil them down, it comes down to just a small handful of things that people really want. And, you can call those outcomes, but there's some of what people want, but it's not being re-communicated to themselves as, how do I want to feel? I want to get in shape, but when I'm in shape, how is being in shape going to make me feel? I want to make more money. Well, let's say you made the more money and you have the money sitting in your pocket, your bank account. How is that going to make you feel? And what are you going to do? Not with the money. Now that you have that, like, what have you really achieved?
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
and for like some people, maybe I want to put my kids and take my kids on a vacation. That would make me feel great if I got to experience Disney World or a Florida trip or something like that with my children. So really, what do you want to do with the money, and how is that going to make you feel when you do what you want with the money or get in shape?
Yeah, that's an interesting we'll call it observation, because I mean, if you take money, it's just a tangible object. Like it's getting worth less each year. But like I would say, put a whole pile of money right here, paper, thread is actually what it is. So I put a whole bunch of like thread that we've assigned a certain value to. And I say, here we go, like, $1 million probably take up about this table. So there we go. There's $1 million in cash, hundreds, crisp. Okay, right, fresh, straight from the Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
So you have more thread now. Like you just have more of a tangible object. Like it doesn't make, but when you equate that, it's what you equate that to. People can look at that and they can say, oh, I that's freedom for me.
Yeah.
I don't have to go to a job I hate anymore. Well, shit, you never had to go to a job you hate. You thought you did, but you never had to, right? You can get another job you want. Oh, I can actually provide for that's security for my kids' future. Mm-hmm. I can save up for them. I can save up if I desire to put that money towards a college fund. I can do that. Like that's security. And so that's a big one. You mentioned body image.
Yeah.
Right? Magic wand, give you the body that you think you desire. Which this one is especially, like, when I came to this realization, even pretty people still have like problems. Like it's like they're like they got like it's like annoying. Like that's when I was probably like 22 or 23 when I was like, you are all just the highest of maintenance. Like generally speaking, like in the fitness realm, they're like, oh yeah, man, you're like, and like, so you like before you're in the fitness realm, you're either fat, you're skinny. That's it. Like there's two categories, right? But like once you get in the fitness realm, it's like, oh yeah, but his legs aren't big enough. His shoulders aren't big enough. And now they start like dissecting about this like sort of subjective image of beauty and what they look like. Right. Like, and that's a game that like, I'm not going to play. Like, I'm not going to get it because there's always a bigger fish. There's always someone who does more steroids. There's always like like that's a game I'm not going to play. You have to feel good about you and your confidence in that.
And that's a great example, because if you take if anybody listening to this podcast knows any person who's competed in bodybuilding, so I've worked with like
it was shortly after Arnold's when I came to that realization. I went to one Arnold's. I was like, I'm out.
Bikini competitors, fitness competitors, physique competitors, or bodybuilding competitors, like in order to get to the place where they're show ready, they're so miserable. They're miserable. Like they're not happy. Like I'm paid, like that one picture for that moment in time, they have a perfectly sculpted body, but they're not happy, and
they can't wait to go do what you're doing.
Exactly.
Right? They can't wait to go eat what you're eating.
Yeah. So their outcome wasn't to feel good. Their outcome was to get their body to look a certain way. So if their outcome was to feel good, they wouldn't have been depleting like all the nutrients and getting all the water out of their body. So
a lot of dehydration.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that.
So that's an example of a bodybuilding person or fitness competitor, like that you see on magazines. Their outcome is not to feel good; it's to look good, and there's a big difference.
100%. So whatever outcome you're chasing, right? Like, so then we're going to go back to the question: how do you prioritize your resources to achieve your outcome? We've only got a handful of resources. What are they? Let's just list them off here.
So, in my opinion, people who achieve their outcome are not the one with the most resources, or the one who are the most resourceful.
Resourceful, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So being resourceful is looking around and saying, who around me can I reach out to get some resources from? And resources don't always mean money.
Doesn't always mean money, though it is a resource.
Yeah, it is a resource. But resources, the people who are successful, I don't care what industry you're in, are resourceful. And that just means calling and being around somebody who has the resources in that field or subject that you don't have.
Right. So we'll take like in terms of a list of resources, right? There is money. What's more valuable than money? Time. There's your time, right? There's your time. And then there's your intellect, which, I mean, there's a certain base standard of intellect. You need to be able to speak. It certainly helps if you can read, though it's not ultra necessary to achieve every outcome, right? You don't necessarily need to read. Know someone who can read, but like time and money, like that's it. And then the third resource I would say is the people you know. So if you,
if you ask me, that is the biggest.
It's large because if I know someone, and we can all think of somebody that we like, someone that we like, and we can all think of someone that we like, and we don't really have a good reason to like them. You're like, yeah, I mean, on paper, like they don't really offer a whole lot, right? Like on paper, they don't really offer a whole lot, from a world's perspective. But I like them. People deal with people they like. People do business with people that they like. Like period. So if you can just get around someone, and this goes back to how you're dealing with people. Like when you have a genuine concern and genuine interest in whatever you're gonna do, like I could come to you and say, let's just say something. Say, hey coach, you have a black belt, you open up a gym. That's something I'd want to do. Like, can you give me some guidelines on what, maybe some first steps I might be to do that? And then you're going to give me, whatever advice you have, and what it looked like for you to do that. Mm-hmm. And then I might go to a different gym owner, talk to them, build a little bit of rapport, ask them the same thing. And then I go to another one and another one and another one and another one. And simply put, I mean, unless your outcome, your desired outcome is something that has yet to exist. I want to occupy Saturn. Okay, well, no one's quite done that yet. So that's a pretty ambitious one. But I want to move to New York. Because I don't know why you would. But like, let's say because I'm sick of wearing sandals. Let's say I want to move to New York. I'm going to talk to someone who's been to New York. I'm going to talk to someone who started in downriver Detroit and like made it enough to go afford that $7,000 a month rent for a studio apartment in Manhattan or whatever. Like whatever it is, like I'm going to talk to them and see kind of what that, so find someone who's been where you want to go and ask them. Ask them what it looks like. Now, here's where I'll just put a kind of an asterisk or a comma. If you come to me for advice more than twice, you ask me for advice and you don't take it, and it's like direct advice, like, hey, what do I do? I would do this in that situation. I would do this, and you go and do the opposite. Best believe you better not come ask me for advice again, because I'm going to bring up the last time you asked me for some advice. Be like, what's the point? Are you just going to gather this shit and make up your own opinion anyway? Or are you actually going to do what I tell you? So you tell me to do something. A good coach is going to tell you to do something that you don't feel super comfortable with.
Yeah.
If you had the answers on your own, you wouldn't need someone like that.
Correct.
So I think that's where it comes. And sometimes, I mean, a lot of those connections, sure, you can do paid coaching, right? You can do paid coaching, but a lot of them are just like using your network. But using your network, to build a network requires, if you don't have money, it requires what? Time. You gotta be able to invest time. And one or the other. Okay, ultimately, it's time and money. Those are the main things until you develop a network or a circle that you can rely on. So, what's our? You have anything to add on that point?
No. I think my opinion on that is achieving your outcome, and is if you don't know how to get there, be resourceful. And resourceful again is best advice I've received is being resourceful is reaching out to the people in your network and outside your network. And there hasn't been a time when somebody has reached out to me for help or for advice that I've said, I'm not giving that to you.
Right.
It's flattering. It would be flattering if somebody reached out to you because you're an authority in your field and, asked you for advice or guidance. And, nobody gets to where they need to get. Nobody gets to achieve progression in their life without help. Mm-hmm. I haven't. I know you haven't.
Sure.
And there's been so many people that helped me every step of the way. Like just last night, we were talking about Coach Faddis. He was just promoted to purple belt. Like he worked for free for a whole year, you know, and we wouldn't be here. That was a big help for him and all of the coaches who didn't get paid, including ourselves.
Yeah. And I'm just on that note, like, and I'm not going to go into the job market or how the job market got to where it's at, but a lot of it, like, if you're going into a position solely of like what tangible money can I get out of this? Like if that's your like, I'm only going to work to get exactly the dollar amount that I get out, you won't go far. That's a promise.
For sure.
That's a promise.
When I got into the nutrition industry, I would have done it for free.
Sure.
And I told the people, like, I didn't have much experience at the time, but anybody that I went to interview for, I said, I will work for free. And if I'm not worth it, you don't even have to pay me. You could just let me go. There's no hard feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And if you approach a job that way, like you think if you can feel like you can add so much value to that company or to that job or that position, prove it by saying, I will work for free to show you I am way, way worth it.
They want to put it backwards. They want to do it backwards. They're like, well, you know, I'm worth this. Let's start. I don't know what the freaking starting rate for a job now. Is it 18? It's high, whatever, depending. I mean, whatever. It can be a warm pulse at Taco Bell, maybe 16. But like you know, like you could read, speak the English language. You know, it's ballpark. It's somewhere around there now. So if you walk in and say, okay, like let's say 18 is enough. Like a family of now going to be 5. 18 is not a livable wage. Not a livable wage for me. So if I wanted to make, I'm just going to make up a number, $50 an hour. Okay. Well, you need to remember employers are looking for an investment. Like right, wrong, or indifferent, your payroll is an investment. Like it doesn't make sense for me to spend $1, get $1. It doesn't make sense. So if I wanted to make $50 an hour, what should I honestly be looking to do? Like provide to that employer. If I want you to pay me $50, I should probably make that employer what?
A lot more than that.
Like $300 or $500 an hour.
Yeah.
And if I can go in there and say, case in point, be like, all right, hey, I saw you got this job listing for 18. If I can make you $300 an hour, will you pay me $30? Who's going to say no to that?
I would.
Yeah, I'd be like, okay. Well, I don't know that you'll be able to. I'll do it for free. Yeah. Like I'll do it for whatever, 1 week, 2 week, 3, whatever. It's a sort of a free, but no one wants to work for that.
Yeah.
No one wants to put that for. Like how many months did we? I'd be scared to calculate the hours. And I think that's entrepreneur. I read this quote the other day. It was brilliant. It was like entrepreneurs are needed by society because they're willing to fail for the rest of us. They're willing to fail for the rest. Like how many and we've gone out there, made poor mistakes, and I learned from that. Like how many hours did we put in building Metro? Whether it was just kind of conceptual build, like hey, what does it look like, or physical build, laying down the mats.
Yeah.
Well north of $2,000 or 2,000 hours.
Yeah.
Plus whatever the initial investment is. So now you've got 2,000 hours. So you've got, call it, okay, 40,000 in labor. Plus whatever the initial investment was, 40,000 labor each. So now you've got a cumulative like almost 150,000 in potential, like sort of that if you're like, well, I'm only going to do that if I get paid. That's why a lot of people are going to entrepreneurship. They want to open up. They want a grand opening and start making $1, start making money right away.
Yeah. Regardless of what people think, you don't want to open up a gym or get into the business we're in if you're doing it for the money.
I would never like my hourly rate. Honestly, my hourly rate is probably that of a Taco Bell worker now. Like swear to you.
Yeah.
Like hourly.
I agree.
Yeah.
So here's the thing is that you don't want to go into a field for the money. And I was talking to somebody the other day at the Delta Sky Lounge. I was sitting down and I'm like,
that's expensive, but it is nice. It is nice. It's nice just to like be away from not have people all up on you.
So I'm like, you know what? I just want to retire. I don't want to have to work anymore. And this person,
you told this to a stranger?
Nice lady.
Even I know that's not true. She didn't know you well enough to call you out on that.
Well, I was trying to get an upgrade.
Oh,
but it was a truthful conversation. So I was like, I want to retire. I really don't want to have to go to work anymore. And they're like, well, what would you do? And I'm like,
what would you do? Thank you. What would you do?
The exact same thing I'm doing now.
Okay.
If I didn't have to go to work,
yeah,
I would still wake up and come to work because this is what I enjoy doing. And that's the only way that you could be fulfilled and have an outcome of being happy is saying, well, outside of the money, if you take all the money aside, what would you be doing? And
it's that Jimmy John's poster. You know the one with the Mexican fisherman. That's the truth. You know the one.
Not
you don't like so it's like they Mexican fisherman, like businessman CEO, where he goes on a trip to Cancun or something, and he sees a little fisherman bringing in a fish and eating it with his homies and like playing the banjo. And then I'm butchering the story, but this is it. And so he's like, you know what you should do? You should get a boat and go out and fish all day to make more profit. And then the fisherman looks at him and he's like, oh, and then what? He's like, well, you save up enough profits, then you can get 3 boats. And then you can just expand your profit and scale. Yeah. And then from there you can get a fleet.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, and then what? He's like, well, once you get a fleet, now it's a big enough corporation to sell. And he's like, oh, and then what? He's like, oh, well, then you can retire. And then you can retire to a place like this and like just, spend your mornings catching the fish and eating lunch on the beach and playing the banjo. Doing exactly what he was in the beginning.
Yeah.
In the full. So it's literally it's on every Jimmy John's. It's on a poster in Jimmy John's. It's in fine print, so not many people read it, but I love that story. So I'd still be doing that. So okay, so you'd be doing the same thing. It's not like you'd be like on a lazy boy on a patio or something.
No.
Okay. So
no, I'd still want to.
Of course. Yeah. So when you say retire, I'm like, oh no. So what do parents? So what are some main outcomes that parents seek? From they call us, main outcomes they're looking for their kid for jiu-jitsu. The main ones that they're looking for. It's like 5, 6.
Confidence, health, assertiveness. I think a big one that's starting to be missed with children and parents is like my son or my daughter is not like ambitious. And we're not like, parents are not able to pinpoint it, but they want their kids more motivated. They want their kids more ambitious. And, outside of giving kids the tools, like you have to have, that has to be, it has to come from within and it has to be nurtured. And the only way someone could be ambitious, like an entrepreneur, is, they have to be ready to take risks and they have to be ready to fail. And I think that's a big one that we're seeing more and more, that kids are just like, kids and even young adults are not like, they're not willing to like get out there and, fight for something. I think that's a big one. And with kids, I'm seeing that like a lot.
That's a big one. And that's a big one, number 1, and socializing number 2. And I kind of think they go together, right? Because when you were a kid, right? And so like you would get around the boys and you would just talk. And you ever like have like just like kind of like maybe after you're done playing or roughhousing or whatever, like you would just have, and this is like, I remember doing this young, like 8 or 9. And you would just talk about like whatever, like, what we should do one day. Like, and one time me and my buddy were going to start a band and like, he was going to like, you just like you talk about dreams and you have no intention about thinking about them. Whereas adults, we won't even verbalize a dream until we can like support a plan, because then that's well, how are you going to do it? Doesn't matter. Like the how comes way down the road.
Yeah.
Like it's what do you want to do?
Yeah. The why comes first.
Kids, right. Kids don't think about the how.
Yeah.
Right. Which gets them in a lot of trouble sometimes, but like they don't think about how I'm going to do something. I'm just going to do it. But the socializing with that, the socializing is key because now, so remember, it's about 2 years ago. It's April. Yeah, about 2 years ago, right? When they were like, hey, we're not, you got to keep all the kids away from each other. Immediately, what did you and I had this conversation? I was like, dude, what's that going to look like? Like if kids aren't allowed to be other kids.
Yeah.
Like adults, it's still going to be detrimental. But like our brains are developed. So if kids aren't allowed to be around kids, like anyone else, what's that look like? And I think you and I knew, because we're professionals with kids. We knew how important that was to their mental and cerebral growth.
Yeah.
Society's just not realizing it when they're bringing their 6-year-old in who's gestationally a 4.5-year-old. Yeah. In terms of socializing, right? They might be able to speak or something, but like or you're bringing your 8-year-old in and they're like, they don't really have. He's kind of gets really nervous around people.
Yeah. I tell my kids all the time, and even some parents that come in, at some point in the future, there's going to be a time when someone asks them at a job interview and say, hey, there used to be this skill that people had. Like it was old, a long, long time ago, where you could like talk to a stranger.
Yeah.
There used to be a skill where you could walk in and meet a stranger at a supermarket or in line or anywhere and just strike up a conversation and keep it going where you're both comfortable. Do you know how to do that? Like it's an old skill, and I know that its parents are seeing it, like it's happening.
Yeah,
kids don't know how, like they don't know how to talk to like strangers. They don't know how to make friendships.
Yeah,
it's always about I. Well, me. And the easiest way for kids adults really to learn how to like use that skill is just by asking questions.
Yeah, and I'll play the You're 100% right. You're 100% right. Like the top performers, fast forward 10, 15, 20 years, top performers will always be those who can develop, nurture, and call upon and utilize human relationships. Your human relationship will be your most valuable resource of those: time, money, and network. Your human relation.
No doubt.
Like, so when you come into those things, though, like I was at the store last night. I was actually the irony of this is you'll laugh when you hear this. So I'm on the phone with you guys.
Yeah.
I walked to the store getting Amanda for my wife because she's pregnant and she needed like Totinos or something. So I'm on the phone and I'm just looking like I'd hung up with you like shortly after I walked in, but I'm walking around and everyone's plugged in. Now, granted, it's 11 at night, so you get a little slightly different clientele in the store at 11 at night than you do at 10 a.m. But like, they're in like, it's like, it was like Gotham, bro. Like they're in. Not only are they plugged in, like, cause if I'm plugged in and I'm like, and I look at you, like if I smile, I'm kind of like, hey, they're in their own, like they're doing everything in their power so as not to be disturbed or even looked at. Yeah. Like because if you were to talk to one of them, if you were to come up, then like it's for certain you're going to try and mug them. Like that's the kind of lifestyle. Like humans are a danger to you. Humans are a danger to like honestly, that message kind of been reinforced a lot. Someone gets close to you, they're a danger to you. Yeah. It's right, wrong, or indifferent. We were at this store. You would get kicked out of this because the man thought I was weird. We're at BJ's, the brewery, down in Eureka. We're getting some pizza at date night, and this guy is facing this way. 3 times during dinner, he like looks over at me and makes eye contact and looks back away. 3 times. What do you do? What are you doing? 3 times in a row. Like I'm sitting here, he turns around, looks at me, makes eye contact 3 times. What are you doing? Maybe I'm a freak because of what I did.
Do I know you from somewhere?
Do I know? So you're gonna get up. You're gonna get up and like, cause like he's on the other side there, and so you're gonna be like, "What's this dude looking at me for?" Right? So I get up and I go walk over to his table and stand up. I was like, "Hey, what's up, dude?" I was like, "Do I know you from somewhere?" He's like, "No, I don't know you. Do I know you?" I was like, "I don't know. You just looked at me 3 times now, made eye contact. I didn't know if I knew you." He's like, "Oh no, I was looking for the waitress." That's what he said. I was like, and Amanda's like, "You're so embarrassing." And me, I'm like, I need to know. Like,
well, you weren't getting up to pick a fight.
I wasn't like starting. I wasn't like, "Whoa, yo, what up?" Like, I'll smile. I think I might have had my polo on, and I was like, "What's up, dude?" I was like, "Have we met?" He's like, "No, I don't think so." Like, what's up? Amanda's like, "You're embarrassing," but like that's something like that. Just what's the worst case scenario? He didn't get upset. I didn't get upset. Like, we're probably having a good laugh about it now. Like that's how many times have you developed a relationship like that of like a kind of a random thing, like a random thing to where like you nurture it down the road?
Yeah, some people have like a really familiar looking face.
Yeah.
If I see a familiar looking face, like, do I know you? I will ask them. I don't care where I'm at.
Yeah.
You look familiar. I've seen you somewhere before, and like you said, it's you have like that's the need for connection.
Yeah.
Is that's one of the biggest driving forces.
He didn't look back at me though after that. So
He's probably
that
scared.
was the last time. He was like, yeah, he didn't.
He probably pulled out his phone, Metro Jiu-Jitsu, Google, Metro Jiu-Jitsu.
Right,
oh,
yeah.
shit. This guy's Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt.
Doubt it. So, all right. So that's what parents look for. What do adults look for when they're seeking for something? The outcome. What outcome do our adults looking for when they enroll in jiu-jitsu?
Count them on one hand. Feel better about yourself, more confidence. That's probably the two biggest ones. I mean, feeling better about yourself is feeling better that your body works better. Yeah, we all want to get a six-pack and we all want to like really get in shape, but like what we really want to do is feel better in our own skin. And I think that's one of the biggest things that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu provides is you feel better in your own skin, regardless of how much you weigh, how tall, how short you are, what you're dressed like. Like, in my opinion, you can throw anything on. Like, you can leave the house in pajamas. If you feel good about yourself.
I would never leave the house in pajamas.
Oh, really?
Pajama pants?
Yeah, well, I mean, shorts are considered pajamas in the summer.
By who? Like, by pajamas?
It's an unwritten law. Like,
you're saying like basketball shorts? Those aren't pajamas. No, those are okay. If those are pajamas, then I still try to avoid it. But like, those aren't. I'm thinking like, the Shaggy and Scooby Doo pajama pants with like pajama pants.
Well, I kind of classify basketball shorts in the pajama pants category.
No, well, then if those are pajamas, then yeah, I'll wear those pajamas. But I'm not wearing pajamas. But okay, so we wear pajamas.
No, like just being like adults. We want to feel better about ourselves. We want to feel accomplished. We want to feel that we're still growing. We're still learning. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu provides all those.
Yeah, and so we have. Do you have guys like they reach out initially for self-defense? It sounds cool, right? They want to feel confident to not get beat up. They want to feel confident to be able to protect their woman. They want to feel confident. They want to feel like the confidence that comes. Or lose weight. That's why they initially reach out. Why they keep training is that network. A lot of times, like the circle of people you're around. I've thought about this a lot. What makes the people who train jiu-jitsu such a superb group? And it comes down to they are high performers. They are more driven than 98% of society.
Yeah.
Like I don't care. Now their net worth might not be the same, but I'll bet they're happier than the CEO who has a higher net worth.
You know what? But you would be surprised. We have a member that I was talking to not long ago, and you would never guess by looking at this member that he has a couple $100,000 saved in a IRA or a 401k. You would never guess. And when David says like these are high performers, like they're trained to make good moves.
Mm-hmm.
In Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, you're trained to make moves that are going to be good for you. Yep. You're trained to eliminate risk, and and I know you specialize that with your married couples and your married coaching business. If you're not training yourself to constantly strategize and how to put yourself in a better position, you're not going to get there. And I've been shocked over the years to see how successful some people are, but if you look at them or you talk to them, you might not think that's the case. Yeah. And I think Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu really helps people make good moves for the future.
Yeah, it certainly does, right? And we had a gentleman. He actually Evan signed up last night. Got on the team. He's a teacher in Redford. And when anyone knows about Redford, like that's a tough district, bro. That's a tough district to be a biology teacher in. And his reason for signing up, he didn't bullshit. He was straightforward. He's like, dude, I'm just not happy. Like, I'm just not happy. And I'm kind of sick of not being happy. And he's like, and, Coach Johnny, turned me onto this. And he looks happy. Like, he's happier than I remember him being. So I figured I'd give it a shot. And guy's super nerdy. Like, one of the nerdiest people I've seen come in here in a minute. Like, he's narrating the matches, like verbalizing to himself what, like, the goal of it. And I'm looking at him like, this guy's gonna do really well in it. So like that, if you're being honest, like the majority of men aren't happy. They're not. Like they're not. Like they want something. They want, they can't quite pinpoint maybe what it is. And it could be like, you and I both know, we had Paul Helmy on here. In fact, I think he said this. He had Paul Helmy on a podcast. He's got like the white collar gym. He said his parking lot and looks like a luxury car lot. Just all these the hedge fund brokers and these things. And they show up to the gym and they're like, oh, this is the best part of my day. Like, this is the best part of my day. Each one of them making well over 6 figures. And the best part of their day is jiu-jitsu. Why is that? It's because clearly the money's not enough. Like, the money's not enough. There gets a certain point, like, yeah, you need money to live, you need money to pay bills. Yeah. But, like, there's a certain level of to which money quits mattering. And I think I think they put it around 60,000. He's like, after 60,000, the amount of income you make has zero impact on your life. Zero. And, like, he reinforced it. I feel like Steven Peterson, maybe. So zero impact. And you think about it, it's like, it's true. I mean, 60,000, you might get a nicer house, you might get a nicer car, you might get a boat, you might get whatever, like, you might get nicer clothes. But it's not that you don't have clothes and you went to now having them. It's like clothes, nicer clothes, really, really nice clothes. Home, nicer home, really, really nice. It's just a scale of that. And I think once you realize that, it's going to be huge. Do we have – I'm going to check. See, those are all the questions we are answering. Do you have anything to add on to that?
That's about it.
Let's see what we got in terms of comments. I got the one. Syrian says 100. Oh, he's on YouTube. Yeah, you guys are on YouTube. Make sure you guys subscribe. We've got some really sweet. You had mentioned. We're gonna be posting. I finally got a guy, Mr. Dare at Dalton Rowe, TikTok famous bodybuilder. Spawned a challenge. I've got a guy coming in who can bench 455. So I was looking. To be fair, I was looking for like just a meathead, someone who had never trained before. All the meatheads who had never trained wouldn't respond to my post. So this guy's like, he said he's quote purple belt level of jiu-jitsu. So we're gonna put that on our YouTube of that match. His name's Sherwood, super nice dude. Like the nice again because he trains jiu-jitsu. This is just my thing. Like he's a nice guy. Problem is he's got 160 pounds on me. So we're gonna see. He's literally almost double my weight.
That's a lot of weight.
I just now put that in. He's almost double my weight.
That's a lot of weight.
That's all right. I'm not pulling guard. If that makes anyone feel better. So I'm not pulling guard. I'm not pulling guard on that.
I would go right to those legs and just.
You miss one time though. Like that's.
Yeah,
you better get them. Like that's what I'm saying. You better get them. That's high risk, high reward.
Scissor sweep right to the leg. Scissor sweep right to the leg. Immediately on the heel.
Scissor sweep.
They will be begging for mercy.
That's a danger.
Mercy.
It's a dangerous sweep, man. So that's it, guys. So we've got some really cool promos going on. Adults. Don't be the guy who's like, I saw you 5 years ago and decided to come try it out. Like, try it out. Like, if the answer is, you know what, I thought it'd be way cooler. Did I tell you a guy, like, he called, he's like, yeah, you know what, yeah, coach, I'm just not going to come to class anymore. We're like, why? You know, what's up? He's like, well, I've decided, this is as if it was like he's giving a lot. Decided jiu-jitsu takes a lot of time to learn. And realistically, if I'm in a street fight, I'll just punch my way out. That was his answer. He's like, so paraphrase, I don't want to learn. I don't want to take the time, the resource to become competent in fighting. So I'm just going to go back and just start swinging. Wow. Like that was his, and I'm dumbfounded. I'm dumbfounded because like it's humbling, bro. People don't realize how humbling jiu-jitsu is. Humbling.
That's crazy.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, I'm just gonna punch my way out of a fight.
I'm just gonna box my way out.
Doesn't work.
Whenever I hear something like that, I think of that Moana line. And he's like, you can't sail? And she's like, I am self-taught. Like that's like, I'm just like, oh my gosh, whatever. You do you.
That's funny.
So that's it for this week's podcast, you guys. On YouTube, subscribe, Facebook, like the page. Clay, go to our website, claim your free trial, and check us out. As always, we'll see you guys on the mats.